Hey there, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a really cool scientific innovation that might just change the entire game for probiotics. We're talking about a surprisingly simple idea: using sunflower oil and wax to give these tiny, helpful microbes a massive leg up. Let's get right into it.
So let's be real. You're trying to do the right thing for your gut health. You buy the special yogurt, you take the capsules, you drink the fermented stuff. But have you ever stopped to ask, are those probiotics you're paying for actually getting the job done? Well, the answer might surprise you. And honestly, it's often a big no.
Okay, so let's just make sure we're all on the same page. What are probiotics? Well, the official definition from the World Health Organization is right here. They're live microorganisms that, if you get enough of them, give you a real health benefit. These are the good guys, the famous ones like Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium that are supposed to be setting up shop in your gut.
And this, right here, is the big problem. Probiotics are incredibly fragile. They're living things. The process of just getting them into a supplement, drying them out, freezing them, can be really tough on them. And if they survive that, they then have to endure the trip from the factory to the store, and then the final boss, the acid bath of your stomach. A whole lot of them just don't survive the journey.
But what if we could give these little probiotics their own personal suit of armor? Well, scientists have been working on basically that. It's something called an oleogel, and it's a game-changing protective shield. Let's take a look at how this thing works.
Now, oleogel might sound a little complicated, but the concept is actually pretty brilliant and simple. It's a gel made from totally edible stuff. In this study, scientists took sunflower wax, which acts as a gelator, and used it to build this tiny microscopic network that traps liquid sunflower oil. You can almost think of it like a sponge, but instead of soaking up water, it's holding and protecting the valuable probiotics inside this oily shield.
And get this, making it is incredibly straightforward. You literally just heat up some sunflower oil and sunflower wax until the wax melts into the oil. Then you just let it cool. As it cools down, the wax molecules arrange themselves into that protective, semi-solid gel. It's a completely natural process, and it creates the perfect little home for probiotics.
But the researchers thought, can we make this shield even stronger? So they experimented by adding 4 different food-grade emulsifiers into the mix. You can see them here. Some are hydrophobic, which just means they repel water, and one is hydrophilic, meaning it's attracted to water. The big question was, could one of these little additions take the oleogel from good to great?
Okay, so we have the challenge, and we have this really clever potential solution. The next step, of course, was to see if it actually works. It was time for the scientists to put these new oleogels through their paces in the lab.
For the main event, they picked a real tough cookie of a probiotic, a strain called Lactiplantibacillus pentosus. This one's already known for being pretty resilient, so if they could improve its survival, they knew they'd be onto something. They grew this probiotic inside each of the different oleogels to see which one, if any, would come out on top.
And this, my friends, is where things get really interesting. The scientists were probably just hoping the gels would keep the probiotics alive, but what they found was so much more. The oleogels weren't just a shield, they were a booster rocket.
I mean, just look at this graph. The results for growth were amazing. The control oleogel, that's the one with just oil and wax, no fancy emulsifiers, almost doubled the amount of probiotic growth compared to just growing it in a standard broth. So the gel itself wasn't just protecting them, it was helping them thrive and multiply like crazy.
But wait, it gets even better. Because it's not just about how many bacteria there are, right? It's about how active they are. Are they actually doing anything? Well, adding certain emulsifiers, especially stearyl alcohol and SPAN 60, sent the probiotics' metabolic activity through the roof. This means the bacteria weren't just more numerous, they were healthier, stronger, and working way harder.
Let's put a hard number on that. The gel that had stearyl alcohol in it, it produced probiotics that were 1.4 times more metabolically active. That's not just a tiny improvement. That is a massive boost in the potential power of that probiotic.
So what did the bacteria actually look like up close? The researchers took a peek with a super powerful microscope. On the left, you can see what stressed out bacteria often look like, damaged, bent out of shape. But what they found in the oleogels you see on the right were these beautiful, healthy, smooth, rod-shaped bacteria.
They were in perfect condition. I mean, the study's own conclusion says it all. I'll read it directly. We observed that SA and SP-containing formulations have the maximum positive effect on growth and viability among different emulsifiers. In other words, they found the secret sauce. Stearyl alcohol and SPAN 60 were the clear winners for creating the best, most powerful probiotics.
Okay, so this is all really fascinating lab stuff, but let's connect the dots. What does this actually mean for you and me? Well, this discovery could pave the way for a totally new class of supplements.
The potential here is just huge. So let's break it down. First, we know it protects them. It's like a personal bodyguard for fragile probiotics. Second, it doesn't just protect, it boosts them, making them grow more and work harder. Third, and this is crucial, the study made sure that byproducts from these supercharged probiotics were totally safe for our gut cells. And finally, this whole thing turns a simple delivery method into what the scientists call a growth modulator. It's not just a taxi, it's a turbocharger.
So, all of this leaves us with one really exciting question. Since these oleogels are made from simple, everyday food ingredients, we're talking sunflower oil and wax, they could easily be mixed into things we already eat, like spreads or maybe even baked goods. So, are we about to enter a new age of supercharged probiotics? Probiotics that don't just survive the trip to our gut, but arrive stronger and more ready to work than ever before? You know, based on this research, the future of our gut health is looking very, very bright.